Sa typical day naman, walang something special. Parang feel ko mag-leave. Pero ayun, nanghinayang ako kasi wala naman akong gagawin. So bakit ako magli-leave? Kaya tumuloy ako mag-work. I decided na pumunta sa comfort room. Doon ko na narinig yung putok ng barel. Narinig ko yung sigaw ng mga tao nasa loob ng office. Nagpapanik na sila. Pati ako nagpanik na din ako that time. Wala akong idea kung anong nangyayari. May sumigaw na babae, kawork ko. May nagpapaputok ng baril.
He killed a woman in the bank shortly after he entered the bank.
I asked him, why are you doing this? What pushed you to take all of these people hostage?
Knowing that you had people's lives in your hands, and if you did it wrong, people would die.
The negotiation, it's a game of expectations. What's the value of a human being?
I was then the chief of police of San Juan City Police Station. We're having our conference when I was told by my men that there was an ongoing hostage drama in a V-Mall, Green Hills Shopping Center.
We had an event in San Juan City Hall. I was with my wife for the launch of Women's Month. And I remember receiving a call from an informant who told me that there was a hostage-taking crisis happening. So what I did was I called my contact from the shopping center and I asked him, is there really a hostage-taking crisis? And he said, yes. In fact, the hostage-taker is in front of me and is pointing a gun at my head. He was able to go inside the mall because he was a former security guard. So he was able to get access to the admin office, and as soon as he entered, he shot his former supervisor.
Simula lang narinig ko yung putok ng barel. Nagpanik na din ako kasi nakita ko yung mga kasama ko nagpapanik na din. Nakita ko sila pumasok sa isang cubicle, sa malaking cubicle doon sa CR. Sila, medyo marami sila doon sa pinakadulong cubicle. Pero ako, nag-iisa ako na nagtago doon sa pangalawang cubicle ng CR. Nag-lock ako. Tapos, mga ilang minutes lang tahimik na lahat. Wala na akong naririnig.
As soon as arrived the Green Hill Shopping Center, the police on the ground briefed me regarding the situation.
Nandito sa loob ay either local government or PNP or management. The rest na civilian out. Okay tayo? The chief of police, paikutan na sila. Pagwardahan mo yung mga gate, sabihin mo habang may crisis pa.
We were informed that at that time there were 55 hostages inside the admin office of the shopping center.
We came to know that Alchi Paray had 300 grenade and a firearm.
Ground commander and the negotiator do information. Right? We are on the negotiation mode.
We set up the chapel as a war room so that we can discuss the present situation and the possible things to do on how to approach the problem practically and correctly.
First, control ng CCTV, may access ba siya ng CCTV? Radyo, dapat wala na siyang contact na radyo.
We were instructed by then Regional Director, Police General Debold Sinas, to gather people who could give us useful information.
Meron ba kayong latest na mukha? Nga, ang pangalan nito?
The hostage taker was a former security guard of the shopping center. Basically, he was disgruntled because of something that happened while he was still working for that security agency.
Nagkaroon ng trouble or problem yung negotiation kasi nung una, ang nakikipag-negotiate sa kanya yung mga kasamahan niya rin. Kaya medyo napikon siya, no? Minsan nga, to the point na halos sigawan niya pa. Pinabibitawan niya yung radyo. Kasi ayaw kitang kausap, malabo kang kausap. Siya mismo yung nagsasalita nung nalaman niya na puro yun na lang ang kausap niyang tao.
You have to assign regular negotiator. Kasi kung lahat tayo magsasagot sa demand niya, hindi tayo united. So in this incident, we only assign one mayor. Diba? Ang may experience sa atin is si Junior. Diba? Siya na yung dumaan doon, may history, may experience sa everything. Okay? So tapos siya ba?
I'm retired Police Brigadier General Orlando Obispo Yebra Jr. Nasa office ako noon dahil ako nga ang Deputy District Director ng Eastern Police District during that time. Dumating na isang personnel namin from the Tactical Operations Center at sinabing may tawag daw from San Juan Police Station and there's an ongoing hostage taking inside the Vera Mall in Green Hills. Ang main concern ko doon is mahirap to dahil sa dami, as reported, marami yung hostages, more than 50 ang sabi pa nga. Immediately, tumakbo kami ron. Pagdating namin doon, I was informed na kinakausap na siya nung isang officer ng mall, security officer yata yon.
Maray, guminawin ka muna. Maray, mag-usap muna tayo.
Buti na lang nandun si General Yebra, siya yung nag-take over ng negotiation. General Orlando Yebra used to be our Deputy District Director for Administration, and he was one of the Philippine National Police best negotiator because of his vast experiences in that field.
Ang talagang nahahawakan ko ay yung mga barricaded situation, katulad nung nangyari sa Green Hills. Yan, tawag namin barricaded hostage situation. Pinaka-umpisa talaga dyan is introduce yourself. Kailangan malaman niya kung sino ka eh. Hindi pwedeng basta ka lang makikipag-usap without him knowing kung sino ka, anong purpose mo, bakit ka nandun. Very important para makuha mo yung loob niya at ma-establish yung rapport to talk to him honestly. At isa pa, na maaaring nasa akin yung solusyon ng kanyang problema. Unang-una, sabi ko sa kanya, Alchi, baka matulungan kita sa problema mo. Yung salita ko pa lang na ganun, naglitanya na siya ng mga irregularities at mga abuses ng kanyang supervisor eh. Matagal siyang security guard, family man, pero hindi pa sila kasal. Nasabi lang niya sa akin yung buhay niya sa probinsya, parang ganun, bukid sa Surigao. Parang nasa ano lang siya, nasa bukid daw siya, nagpa-farm, kaya nagbakasakali dito sa Metro Manila. Gusto lang niyang maganda yung kanyang trabaho at hindi siya naargabyado. Ang problema talaga nito yung kanyang trabaho dahil nililipat siya, natanggal na nga siya sa agency. Siguro wala siyang pagkukunan ng kabuhayan, kaya napilitan siyang gumanti dito sa mga officers ng agency.
Bandang alas 10 ng umaga, merong isang dating security guard ng King Shopping Center ang pumasok at ng hostage dito sa loob ng admin office ng shopping center.
The command group decided that I be the one to brief the media, being the mayor of the city, because people didn't know what was happening. Everything was very speculative.
Masama ang kanyang loob sapagkat siya'y tinanggal bilang banda.
People knew there was a hostage-taking crisis, but what was really happening, no one had any real concrete information.
I was anchoring our noontime newscast at that time. It was a normal day for us until a breaking news came in. Initially, it was a shooting incident, and so I thought, okay, might just be another crime story for us. And then news came out that it's hostage-taking incident. The first thing that came to mind actually was the Luneta hostage-taking, which I also covered. It still kind of fresh in my mind because that ended tragically. The Luneta hostage-taking incident happened in 2010. A disgruntled police officer took hostage a whole bus, which were full of tourists from Hong Kong. He entered the bus. He was intending to get attention from his superiors because he claims that he was unjustly fired from his job. 8 Hong Kong tourists were killed. And it created a diplomatic issue between the Philippines and Hong Kong. Yeah, my first thought was it might end up tragically again, especially when I learned that one of the negotiators during the Manila hostage-taking incident was also there in Green Hills.
It was August 23, 2010, when a former policeman, Captain Mendoza, held hostage foreign nationals inside a tourist bus in Luneta. Mahaba ang naging negotiation doon. We were trying to persuade him to peacefully surrender, pero despite of those efforts, wala pa ring nangyari. Until such time na may pinatay na siya dun sa loob ng bus. Kaya nag-decide yung aming commander during that time na i-assault na lang yung bus, which resulted the death of the hostage taker. What went wrong? Ang daming interference na napatunayan naman talaga kung sino-sino ang gustong pumapel, kung sino-sino ang gustong makipag-usap na hindi na namin na-control.
9 people died, including the hostage taker, and 8 tourists from Hong Kong.
Pero emotionally, naka-apekto rin sa akin dahil 8 namatay, including the hostage taker. I was demoted because of that. Pero hindi lang ako nagbasa ng mga newspaper, Facebook, wala akong binasa para hindi na makadagdag. Inisip ko na lang na ganito talaga siguro ang magiging outcome nito. Wala akong control doon. If you can imagine the pressure, yung feeling nung nasa hot seat ka, yung bang para kang ginigisa, na once sumablay ito, lahat ng blame nasa iyo. Honestly, kinakabahan ako noon. Dahil sa dami ng hostages Posibleng, alam mo yun, mag-sample siya ng 1, 2, 3, ganyan. Dahil sa dami naman ng hawak niya, pwede niyang gawin to pressure us and to give in to his demands. What if may lumaban sa mga hostages? May mga lalaki kasi. And then, biglang bunutin yung pin ng hand grenade. So, lalong masama. Lahat yun iniisip ko.
Nanginginig ako actually kasi first time ko makarinig ng putok ng barel. Natatakot ako kung ano-ano yung pumapasok sa isip ko. Yung hirap ko na nakatungtong ng 3 oras doon sa CR. Kasi nahirap ako noon, nangangalay na yung paa ko. Tinitiis ko actually. Baka bigla akong barilin pag may nakita ang may tao. Kaya nagtatago talaga ako, as in parang walang tao sa loob.
Ang sinasabi niya, doon sa mga hostages, marami siyang granada. Pero ang nakikita ng mga tao sa loob ay isang pistol at isang hand grenade. Pero hindi kami nag-rely doon kasi nga, sabi niya marami, may bag pa siya. So we assume na marami talagang hand grenade ito. Pinaka-unang-unang demand niya sa akin ay yung mga security guards na nandun mag-gather sa labas ng mall dahil kakausapin niya through the handheld radio in front of the media. Pina-line up natin yung guards sa labas ng establishment, and then with the presence of the media, we gave one handheld radio to, siguro team leader yata yun ng mga security guards, nakausap niya.
He wanted the presence of the media dahil gusto niyang ipaalam yung mga di umano na mga katiwalian na nangyayari doon mismo sa loob at labas ng opisina nila.
Nandito po ang GMA, si Rafi Tima. Hindi po natin sigurado kung ano yun, pero ginawa na lang natin dahil it's a hostage-taking situation. Pero this is very unusual. Hindi kami brief na ito yung demand ng hostage-taker at nakamonitor yung hostage-taker. Siya ay nasa radyo kanina at sinasabi niya na nag-roll call siya ng mga media na nandito.
Doon, sinabi na naman ni Paray yung mga hinaing niya. Parang kino-convince niya, niloloko kayo ng management or ng security agency, huwag kayo maniwala, ganyan.
He wanted his colleagues, other security guards, to join him in his cause because of the injustice that he experienced, but no one heed to his call. No one agreed to join him during that time.
Initially, there were 55 hostages, and every hour or so, one or two would be able to escape. So that was very important to us because it established what was going on inside. It helped us plan because those who were able to escape explained to us the situation inside, where the others were hiding, where he was.
Sa Batingan po, tatlo kami. Pero pa sa CR, marami yun sa CR. Madami. Ilan? Yung madami, mga sobra 10.
So yung ba yung ngayon, bubuksan natin yun, tahimik lang, hindi malaman sa loob.
Yung kasing mga hostages, may mga nakapagtago sa pantry, may iba na pumasok sa CR without Paray knowing. Nalaman lang din nitong ating SWAT team na may mga tao doon. Then, na-evaluate nila, pwede natin gawin nang hindi nalalaman ng hostage taker. Plano namin yun eh. I'll continue to talk to Paray habang sila ay gumagapang para ma-divert nga yung attention at they can successfully enter the premises nung second floor.
Sinabi niya nga, ako to, pwede ko ba kayo makausap, isasabihin ako. And then sabi niya nga, antay lang tayo ng ilang minutes, may pupuntang SWAT team dito para i-rescue tayo. Sabi niya, tanggalin niyo yung mga sapatos niyo para hindi magkaroon ng noise, ingay. Tapos kapag dating nila, dahan-dahan tayong lalakad, tatakbo palabas. Yung pagkakita ko sa SWAT team, may dalang barel, all black, and then tahimik lang sila, nakaprotect sa amin. Dali-dali kaming nagpaa, nakayuko, tumakbo kami ng mahinhin, hindi kami nag-iingay palabas ng office. Pagkalabas namin ng main door ng office, dami nakapaligid sa amin, nakaharang para i-protect kami palabas ng office. So pinapunta nila kami, pinadiretso nila kami sa chapel. Nung pagbaba ko ng escalator, doon na ako naiyak dahil sa kaba, tsaka sa takot na din. Wala sa isip ko na may tutulong sa amin. Parang ang nasa isip ko lang is mag-aantay ng oras kung ano pa yung mangyayari.
Requirement number 1, nobody must text na nakalabas kayo. Baka meron siyang gagawin doon sa kasama ninyo.
Ang pinaka-basic talaga when you are doing the negotiation is to save lives. Lives. And when I say lives, that is not only the life of the hostage, but also the hostage taker. Kailangan natin maisalba yung mga yan eh. Yan na yung primordial objective. Yan yung paramount talaga. Pinag-usapan namin talaga yung extraction, kausap ko ang team leader na hanggang dun lang ang gagawin. Kahit na sila ay makapasok, makaakyat, hindi sila mag-initiate ng assault dun sa hostage taker. Only to rescue yung mga pwedeng ma-rescue. Siguro pag nalaman niya, magagalit talaga yun, lalo na sa akin. Kasi parang ako pa ang gumawa ng paraan para may divert yung attention niya at extract ng hostage yung ating SWAT team. Risky talaga, pero ini-evaluate naman yan eh. Binabalanse.
But I knew he was tired. I knew he was hungry. His mind was really out of place. I knew he was agitated. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yung second demand ay mag-public apology sa kanya, kasama na ang pagre-resign sa trabaho. At pakainin ng 2,500 peso bills yung mga supervisors. Kasi ang sinasabi niya, hinihingian siya ng pera eh. Parang lagay. Siguro para mabigyan ng favor or magandang assignment, hinihingian siya ng pera. So, ganti niya ngayon, yung pera na yung kainin niyo.
Hindi mo option ever na kumain talaga sila ng pera.
Hindi po pwede eh. Hindi po pwede. Imagine, nandun yung media, nasa harap, nasa public place, maraming tao. Paano mangyayari naman doon sa mga taong yun pag pinagawa natin yun?
Security guards are usually paid around $200 to $300 in the Philippines. It's really a very low wage, especially for a job that entails a lot of hard work. Most security guard agencies are run and operated by former police or military officers. And so there's some kind of strict discipline being implemented in those kind of organizations. Most complaints I've heard are with their superiors. Initially, the only thing we knew about Paray was he was fired from his job. And that, of course, is close to a lot of people's heart, you know, is something that a lot of people can relate to. The initial reaction, I think, would be to sympathize with him. Of course, those are not reasons to take hostages. There is a procedure to air grievances, but that's what he did.
May mga nakukuha siyang sympathizer. And can you imagine, siya yung hostage taker, pero sinasabi niya siya ang victim na may mga injustice, unfair labor practice, Kaya siguro nakakakuha siya ng sympathy. Nagkinapitalize ko talaga yon dahil sabi ko, maraming naniniwala sa'yo, kasama na ako. Hindi mo kailangan sirain yun by inflicting injury, by doing something bad to these people inside. Pinaliwanag ko na yung pagpapakain ng pera, mukhang hindi naman na makatao. Mahirap yun kasi unang-una, imbis na makakuha mo simpatiya ng tao, baka bumaliktad. Yun ang naging condition sa akin ni Paray para hindi niya i-insist na pakainin ng pera. Ako mismo ang parang makiusap sa kanya na wag niyang gawin yun.
Dahil meron siyang request na meron siyang demand na yung dalawang tao rito na ikino-complain niya ay pakakainin ng 2,500 pesos. Bawat isa, papakainin. Now, nirequest ko kay Archie na wag na lang sanang gawin yun. Kasi alam niyo na, medyo hindi naman natin ginagawa, normal na gawain na magpakain tayo ng pera.
Kaya telling the media, telling the public na ako mismo ang nakikiusap na wag niya nang ipagpatuloy. Kaya siya pumayag.
So kapalit ng pagpayag niya na hindi na papakainin ay yung pag-a-announce ko sa inyo na yun ay personal kong request sa kanya na wag nang gawin yun. Yun na po, maraming salamat.
Next, in-explain namin sa kanila yun na susurrender si Paray provided mag-public apology kayo. Maglalagay tayo ng table, nandiyan ang media, bibigyan kayo ng microphone at ihingi ng tawad kay Paray. Sinabi na, in-explain namin, pumayag sila sa kanilang kusang loob na yon.
Gusto ko pong humingi ng paumanhin si Archie Para sa lahat ng aming pagkakamali na maaaring magdulot sa kanyang pagkatanggal sa pwesto. Sorry din po sa kumpanya na sa amin po ng nilingkuran. Sana po ay maayos natin ang kusog na ito na wala nang masaktan pa. Muli ako'y humihingi ng tawad kay Archie bilang patunay ng aking sinseridad. Ako po ay nag-resign na sa aking post.
Lalong lumakas yung aming bargaining na susurrender ito dahil halos naibigay na yung mga hinihingi niya. Most of his demands nabigay naman sa kanya. So, ano pa ang dapat natin patunayan dito?
The SWAT and the uniformed police officers, especially the SWAT, you can't see them, but I know that they were there. I think the police does not want the hostage taker to be alarmed that there was a huge police presence in the area.
But an advantage that Archie had was that he had radios with him, the radios of the mall security. So he knew where the police were, he knew where his former colleagues, the security guards, were. This is something that kept him on top of the game from the start because he knew the current deployment of police in the area. That's why he was very agitated when he was talking to General Yebra because he knew that the police were just all over.
There was one instance nga, medyo umiiwas na siya na makipag-usap sa pulis sa akin at gusto niya yung mga pulis palayuin dahil siguro nga iba pakiramdam niya. Takot siyang may malapit na pulis Ibig sabihin, nag-iisip siya na baka anong gawin sa akin ito. Bilang negotiator, hindi ka dapat magsawa Nakausapin, huwag ka tumigil. Keep on talking, keep on negotiating. Paliwanag sa kanya na maganda ang tinatakbo ng pag-uusap natin since mag-start tayo.
General Yebra is a very experienced and seasoned negotiator. But the fact that he was part of the police force caused a lot of agitation in Archie's psyche because he knew he was surrounded.
Alam namin na si Mayor, makakapagbigay yan ng matinding assurance dahil kilalang tao yan. Siya ang mayor dun sa lugar. Masasabi niyang, I can assure you, your safety and your grievances makakarating sa kinaukulan.
That is when I spoke to General Sinas and told him, why don't you let me talk to him? I think I know what to say to him.
Archie, andito si Mayor kausapin ka.
Archie? Archie, si Mayor Francis Zamora to. Archie, yung mga binanggit mo kanina, Ginawa naman natin, yung hiniling mo na makaharap yung media, yung mga hiniling mo na apology, pati yung pagbibitiw nila, ginawa naman lahat,
Kayo po ba habang nagsasalita siya, nasa harap kayo ng media?
Hindi.
Lumapit po kayo sa harap ng media, sir?
Nasa ibang lugar kami ngayon Nasa ibang lugar kami, Archie.
He knew for a fact that he was surrounded by a lot of police, probably several hundreds of police. So he probably felt that it was the dead end for him.
Pero maganda, Archie, ako, gusto ko lang malaman mo, sinasabi ko sa iyo ngayon, I will guarantee your safety, Sisiguraduhin ko na safe ka, tapusin na natin tong problema,
And that's what I wanted to relieve from his mind. I wanted him to realize that in spite of everything that you've done, we can still get out of this alive.
Sabi mo nga, sir, wala ka dito sa area. Tapos nasabihin mo na yung guarantee may safety, gano'n?
Yung police, naka-stand down sila. So pag lalabas kayo,
Mayor, dito lang na to. Dapat, pag nag-uusap tayo, doon kayo humarap sa media para marinig nila yung usapan natin.
Napansin ko, sa halos lahat ng hinandle kong hostage taking, karamihan sa kanila nagre-request ng media. Siguro isang dahilan dyan ay to protect themselves. Protection, dahil kung ano man ang gagawin sa kanila, nandun yung media para mabalita. Pangalawa, yung gusto ng publicity para yung kanilang cause, ano man yung gusto nila mangyari, mas maraming makaalam.
Archie, ganito, Archie? Pupunta ako ngayon dun sa mga media, okay? Sa harap nila, i-assure ko ang safety mo. Okay, gagawin ko yun. Sige, pero Archie, gagawin ko yun, pero ang usapan natin, kapag gawin ko yun, lalabas na kayo. Maasahan ko kayo, ha? Maasahan ko yung usapan natin kasi gagawin ko yung parte ko. Pakigawa rin yung parte mo, Archie.
He was very fickle. Another conversation, he would get mad, in fact, even curse me and say, hindi ako naniniwala sa'yo. Papatayin ko sila, papasabugin ko silang lahat. He would change his mind every now and then.
Ang talagang gusto niya mangyari, makapaglabas pa siya ng hinaing. Sa labas na, sa outside of the establishment na, in the presence of the media.
Archie?
Okay, papayagan natin yung last demand niya na magsalita in front of the media, pero nasa baba na siya.
Ito yung media na nanonood, Ito, Archie, Ito yung media nandito. Live, naka-live tayo, naka-live. Gusto nyo i-live? Kailangan daw i-live. Naka-live daw sa news. Ginagalang niya ko ang kaligtasan mo. Basta lalabas ka rito, Archie, ang kahilingan ko, kailangan iiwan ko yung baril mo at saka yung mga granada sapagkat hindi pwedeng bababa ka na may baril at granada. Pero ginagalang ko ang kaligtasan mo.
Ang kondisyon namin for Paray, iwanan niya yung baril at yung granada dun sa office, then bababa sila lahat. Napaka-risky talaga kung yung granada na yun ay matatanggalan ng pin or aksidenteng malalaglag, tapos mabubunot yung pin. So, sinabi namin na kailangan iwanan mo yung granada na yan o yung mga granada na sinasabi mo sa kwarto.
Archie, kailangan natin...
What he told me was, okay, I will agree to release the hostages if you assure me that there will be no police around. And I said, yes, there will be no police. So just when he was about to go down with the hostages, he again changes his mind. So he calls me and tells me, ayoko na maniwala sa'yo, sinungaling ka. Sabi mo, walang pulis. Alam ko, ang daming pulis dyan. Babalik na ako sa loob. Then I told him, no. Walang pulis. Ako lang. So he told me, i-release ko lang itong mga hostage na to kung mag-isa ka sasalubong sa akin. Pag makita ko na may pulis kang kasama, hindi ako lalabas. At baka may mangyari sa mga hostage na to.
Black jeans and black na parang brown stripes.
So, I decided to face him alone with the assurance from the police that in case he would draw a firearm, they were ready to shoot him.
At first, I didn't know how he looks like. But then, of course, when he came out, he was very distinct. He was a tall guy in black shirt. And so I immediately knew that was the hostage taker. And he has a stern look in his face. He was looking around, scanning the area.
They were walking out, holding each other's shoulders, but I could see his firearm bulging from his pants. So I knew he had a firearm, but I trusted our police that they would not allow him to draw it.
When the hostages started walking away from him, he kind of glanced to the hostages, and I thought that he would stop them from walking away from him, but he did not.
Ano naman, sa tingin ko, talagang kalmado siya eh. Kalma yung muka, hindi siya yung tipong nalilisik ang mata. Kasi lumapit pa nga ako sa kanya. Alchi, ako si Colonel Yebra, yung kausap mo. So, tumingin lang siya sa akin. Hindi na kami nag-usap doon. Nagpakilala lang ako para malaman niya na ito pala yung kausap ko. Kasi naka-uniform ako noon eh. Di ba sabi niya, ayaw niya na may naka-uniform. Pero lumapit ako para magsabi sa kanya. May kasama naman kaming mga EOD. Kaya nung pagbaba nila, they immediately searched for those hand grenades. At nakita naman nila, and it turned out, isa lang yung tunay, and the rest, mga prutas lang. Ginamit lang niya, pambluff nung panakot doon sa mga hostages. Ang kinakatakot ko lang, dahil nung pagbaba niya, actually, nandun na siya sa labas, baka gumawa siya ng another scenario. He might grab another person. Baka dumiretso siya kay Mayor, di ba?
He was probably shocked that he was still alive. He probably thought that in spite of my assurance, he would still be killed.
Hopefully, magiging sana yung aaralan mo, hindi lang dito sa establishment na to, sa commercial establishment na to, kahit saan sana na may mga nagtatrabaho, lahat po tayo dyan, importante tayo, kaya tayo nandyan.
We allowed him to talk, but I was wondering why the quote-unquote press con was taking longer than what we expected.
Ang sinabi sa amin ni General Sinas, if you have the opportunity, take him down. Take down, ang ibig sabihin, subdue.
Although, yung sarili ko mismo, ako mismo, kinakonsider ko na yung sarili ko na pinaplano ko pa lang to, patay na ako. Dito na nga lang, sabi ko ganun na kay Sir James, ginagawa na lang to na, basta ganun.
He talked for about 20 minutes, and then I started noticing a lot of policemen in civilian clothes starting to close in. When I looked behind us, there were SWAT officers already lining up behind the media. I saw this plainclothes police officer motioning that there was a gun still in his possession. I thought that, okay, something's happening here. It's actually very dangerous. That's why My instinct was just to stay back. I was actually telling the others okay, let's not go nearer because something might happen.
Tatanungin kita, pagkatapos nito, saan ang porta ko? Sa kulungan o sa sementeryo?
During that time, nung binigyan na siya ng microphone, hindi na ako masyadong nakapokus sa kanya eh. Habang nandun siya nagsasalita, ako concerned dito sa paligid eh. Pero nung may maganda pagkakataon, nagkatinginan na lang kami ng isang tao. Yun na, tuloy-tuloy na yung nangyari.
Sinulo lang, pinaliwala lang, ganun. Kaya nagkaganito.
When the first officer launched at Paray, I saw that he had a body grip of some kind. And so I knew at that point that he won't be able to draw his gun. They just jumped on him. I think about 3 or 4 police officers started to hold him back. And then a police officer somehow was able to get hold of his gun. And he held it up so that the other police officers will know that he already has the gun. And that it's safe for the other police officers to hold the hostage taker.
Halos lahat yun, puro pulis yun eh. May kanya-kanyang role and alam nila kung paano sila magbe-blend at hindi sila mapapagkamalang mga pulis. Naging kampante si Paray na magsalita dahil kala niya malayo ang pulis, wala doon. Pero yun nga, nagkaroon ng pagkakataon kaya yung mga officers na nandun, sila mismo ang nag-subdue na take down siya. Wala kaming pinag-usapan about shooting him, using the sniper, walang ganun. Talagang nasa plano namin na kailangan buhay ito, maaresto. Tingin ko sa kanya, talagang nadala lang nung sitwasyon na yun. Hindi nakapag-isip ng mabuti. Naging mapusok at bigla-bigla sa kanyang desisyon na mag-retaliate. Marirealize niya later on. Pinuntahan ko pa siya nung dinala na siya sa kulungan at in-explain ko sa kanya, kailangan naming gawin para mas ma-explain sa'yo na ito ang naging resulta nung ginawa mo. Nasa iyo ang simpatiya ng tao, although meron kang haharaping kaso. Kahit na-aresto mo na yung tao, sumurrender mo na siya because of your insistence, pag-convince mo sa kanya, karugtong nun, maraming salamat at naging maayos yung ating pag-uusap.
Actually, nung narinig ko yung kwento about sa kanya is naawa kami sa kanya. Niisip namin na may point siya na mapakinggan, pero mali yung paraan niya. Lahat ng tao sa loob na trauma sa nangyari.
This is the biggest test that I had to face in my career as mayor of San Juan. No one will ever really be prepared for something like this. This would always be the most significant incident in my life.
The police officers learned a lot from the Luneta hostage-taking incident, primarily because one of the negotiators was at the Luneta incident himself. And they were patient with the media, they were patient with the crowd, and they were patient with the hostage-taker himself.
Kadalasan nga kasi, pag may mga ganyan, pag hindi naging maganda ang resulta, yung blame nasa iyo eh. Pero pag ito naging successful, hindi mo alam kung kasali ka. Parang ganon. So, ang feeling ko kailangan, wag na ako mag-isip ng para sa akin. Kailangan maging successful Sabi nga, everybody goes home ng masaya. Professionally, hindi ko pinagsisisihan na doon ako nag-focus. Yun ang naging trabaho ko. Alam ko marami ako natulungan, marami ako na-save na buhay, at marami ako naturuan ng mga pulis. No regrets. Diyan sa trabaho ko na yan, diyan ako sumemplang eh. Pero diyan din ako bumangon. So, no regrets sa akin.